Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya. Nitago Haribo, 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 Nitago Haribo. Jaya Vishnupada Paramahansa Paribhraja Kacharya Sudashata Sishimad Ese Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jaya Vishnupada Paramahansa Paribhraja Kacharya Sudashata Sishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki ISKCON Founder Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Das Thakur Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Samabhita Bhakta Vrinda Ki Nitai Gopi Manandi. All glory to the Sami devotees. All glory to the Sami devotees. All glory to the Sami devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga. Narayana Namaskritya Narayana Narottaman Devam Sarasatim Vyasan Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nasta Praje Swabhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Vederamani Chaiva Purani Bharati Tata Haro Adyanjamadicha Hari Savatagiyate Mukam Karati Vachalam Pangu Langeti Gri Yakripataham Vande Shri Guridinotarine Paramananda Madhava Dhamma Pujetu Katavotra Paramoni Masram Satan Vedam Vastavam Atavasu Shvaram Chapatayo Mulanam Sima Bhagavate Mahamuni Kintiki Vai Para Isvara Sadyoradi Avarudyate Traktivita Krishanan Nigama Kapatalu Kalitam Phalam Sukamuka Dravasangitam Pibatam Bhagavatam Rishamalaya Mura Urasika Bhuvi Bhavaka Yashavashamana Yam Krishna Paramapurushe Bhaktutpade Punsa Sukamua Payapaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansacharamadanam Devaki Paramananda Krishna Vande Jagaguru Namamo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivesesa Sunyabhadi Pashtada Disatarine Panchakapatru Vyasta Kripa Sunji Vivacha Patitanam Pavana Vibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Shri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I thank everyone for coming to the Bhagavatam class this morning, and also the audience from Vrindavan TV. So I hope that everyone get some benefit from this recitation of this Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are in chapter 57. Chapter 57 and text 28 to 30. So this is about Krishna. It's about the Satrjit, how he was mothered by Satrjit, and then Krishna went after Satrjit after complaint by Satyabhama. So Krishna and Balaram, they went after Satyabhama, who had killed Satrjit. So it's very, very interesting topic. How this happened, many situations are there. So we read text number 28 first. Is that on the board, 28? Okay. So there's going to be 3 texts today, but I just read text 28. Because the 2 texts have no purport, but text 3, the number 30, has purport. Tata Sakarayamasa Kriya Bando Atasyacha Kriya Bando Atasyava Sakam Sudribi Bhagavan Yasyu Sampara Sapara Yaki Tata Sakarayamasa Kriya Bando Hatashabayi Sakan Suridbi Bhagavan Yasyu Sampara Yaki. Come, please chant. Ladies, Tata, then saw he, Lord Krishna, Karayamasa had done Kriya, the ritual duties, Bandhu, for his relative Satrjit, Hatasya, killed, vow, indeed, Salam, succumb, together with Suridbi, well-wishers, Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, Yaya, all which So there are Samparajiki for the time of one's departure from this world. Translation by the disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Lord Krishna then had the various funeral rites performed for his deceased relative Satrjit. The Lord attended the funeral along with well-wishers of the family. So by the way, today is also the disappearance of Srila Vrindavan Thakur. So the portion of this class we will hear something about Vrindavan Thakur. Vrindavan Thakur, he was considered to be the Vyas of Sri Chaitanya Lila. So here, after Lord Krishna killed the Satrjit, and then he came back. The purpose of killing Satrjit was to retrieve the Shamatanka jewel. That's the purpose. So he and Balaram, they went on a chase of Satrjit, who had run away. When he saw that Krishna was running after him, but it so happened that Satrjit, he had given the Shamatanka jewel to the care of Akrura. And then he was running away because he felt that keeping this jewel with Akrura, it should be safe. So he was running away on a very swift horse, but somehow he was running away from Krishna. But, how can you run away from Krishna? No matter how much you try, you can never run away from the Lord. So, anyway, Satrjit, his horse broke down, his old chariot broke down, so he was running away on foot. And then Lord Krishna, he also got down and then was chasing him. Because when on the battlefield, you have to have the same element with the opposing person. So if the opposing person is on foot, then you also have to be on foot. So Krishna, he got down from his chariot, and then he was running after Satrjit, and then Krishna, with his chakra, he killed him, cut off his head. And then he went to his body, tried to find the jewel, the Shamatanka jewel, but the Lord found that the jewel, it's not on his body. So Balaram was also nearby, and Krishna told Balaram that, well, we have killed this person, but the jewel is not with him. So we are just killing for nothing. So we just kill him uselessly. But at the same time, Satrjit, he deserved to be killed because he had mercilessly killed Satrjit. So he deserved to be killed. But nonetheless, Balaram was not so happy that Satrjit was killed with the hope of finding the jewel, but the jewel was not with him. So apparently, Balaram became angry at Krishna, and then he decided not to go back to Dwaraka with Krishna. So he went to Mithila, which is the kingdom of Janaka Maharaj. So it was said that Balaram spent many years there at Mithila. Now, when he said Janaka Maharaj, this does not mean that Janaka Maharaj, who was the father of Sita Devi, not the same. Because in the kingdom, in that kingdom, in kingdom of Videha, the kings, they are called Janaka. It's the title. It's not the name of the person. It's the title that is given. So every king in that kingdom, they are known as Janaka. So it's not that it was the same of, it's the same Janak Maharaj, who was the father of Sita Devi, who came since Treta Yuga, which was millions of years ago. No, it was a different person. Just that just happened to have the same name. But the name is title. So every king that comes, every king is named Janaka. So Balaram being very, very friendly with Janaka, and Janaka was very, very happy to receive Lord Balaram. So Lord Balaram spent many, many years there, and it was there that he taught Duryodhana the club fighting, how to fight with clubs. And of course, Duryodhana was a student of Balaram, but so also was Bhima. He was also a student of Balaram. So both of them, they were taught by Lord Balaram. So that's why during the battle of Kurukshetra, both Duryodhana and Bhima, they both have the same strength. They both expert in the club fighting because they were both trained by Lord Balaram. Even as a matter of fact, Duryodhana was even a favorite student of Lord Balaram. He was a favorite student of Balaram. So which make us question that Duryodhana was a favorite student of Baladev. But at the same time, Duryodhana is not a devotee of Krishna. He knows Krishna, but he was envious of Krishna's devotee, the Pandavas. So these are some of the perplexing situations when describing the lost Lila, the lost pastimes. It can be very perplexing, but it can be perplexing only to those who are not devotees, only to those who don't have the real understanding of the lost Lila. Why does Lord Krishna comes? Why does he come? And how does he perform his Lila? And what is the benefit of his various Lila? So this can be perplexing for those who are non-devotees. But thankfully, the acharyas, they are giving us the insight of some of these things. That in Vrindavan, when Lord Krishna performed his pastimes, everyone in Vrindavan is devotees. Every Brijabasi, every element, the trees, the cows, everyone is a devotee of Krishna. So therefore, his Vrindavan pastimes was very, very relishable. And just by thinking, by meditating on the lost pastimes in Vrindavan, one can ultimately become pure devotees and go home to the spiritual world just by meditating on the lost Vrindavan pastimes. But the pastimes outside Vrindavan is not the same as the pastimes of Vrindavan. The pastimes of Vrindavan is very, very intimate. It's very, very intimate. And it's also very, very confidential, the pastimes of Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, the Lord relates with everyone as relatives, So therefore, in Vrindavan, there are many, many, many different rasas that is there in Vrindavan. Whereas outside of Vrindavan, Mathura or Dwaraka, it's not the same. In Vrindavan, Krishna is the source of life for everyone. Krishna is the source of life for everyone. Krishna is everyone's prananath. Is the Lord of life for everyone. Krishna Mora Prananath, as described by Gunaraj Khan in his writing, Krishna Vijay, one of the statements, he said Krishna Mora Prananath, that Krishna is my life. And when Mahaprabhu read this statement before the descendant of Gunaraj Khan in Jagannath Puri, so Mahaprabhu said that with this statement by Gunaraj Khan, I am eternally indebted to the descendant of Gunaraj Khan. Because he had expressed this, Krishna Mora Prananath, that Krishna is my life. So that's Vrindavan. But outside of Vrindavan, it's not the same. Outside of Vrindavan, some see Krishna as the Supreme Lord, whereas some don't see him that way. Some just see him as any other human being. They happen to be so powerful, very powerful person, but they don't consider him as their life. So outside of Vrindavan, so the Lord performed this pastime, but he performed this pastime in a human-like way, in a human form, it's called Narabat, in a human-like form. He performed these pastimes there, which sometimes can be a source of perplexity, just like we are reading now, how Krishna, how he pursued Satyadamba with the hope of retrieving the Samantanka jewel. But he killed Satyadamba and the jewel was not there. Whereas Krishna is supposed to be all-knowing. He's all-knowing. He's the omniscient. Sarvagyan. So how come he doesn't know that Satyadamba, he had given the jewel away to Akrura to keep? So how come he assumed that Satyadamba was not having the jewel, and then he killed him? And then also, when he killed him, then Balaram supposedly became angry with Krishna. That, oh, why did you kill him uselessly? So these pastimes, we cannot understand it with our material intelligence. Because when we try to understand the Lord's Leela with our material intelligence, then we simply become confused about it. We become confused about it. It's just like at the end of the Kurukshetra war. So at the end of Kurukshetra war, Queen Gandhari, she blamed Krishna for what has happened. She blamed Krishna that, oh, you have allowed so many people to be killed. You could have prevented all these slaughters of millions and millions of soldiers. You could have prevented it. After all, you are the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan. So you could have prevented this to happen. Of course, he's right that yes, Krishna could have prevented this onslaught on the battle of Kurukshetra, but Krishna was in battle of Kurukshetra. When he was in the battle of Kurukshetra, he spoke the Bhagavad-Gita. When he spoke the Bhagavad-Gita, only a few people understand him. Only a few people accepted him to be God. The Pandavas, a person like Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, and only just some few people. The rest could not understand that this is God, this is the Supreme Lord. When Krishna told, he was speaking very loud because Krishna has a very deep voice. When he speaks, the whole universe and here, listen. So Krishna says, Savadama Parityagya Mamekam Sanam Braja. Surrender unto me, become my devotee. And I will give you protection from all fear. Krishna says that. But only a few devotees who are there on the battlefield, they are the only one who understands this. The rest could not. Because they just see Krishna as an ordinary person. Great person, but they see him as an ordinary person. So therefore, they could not surrender. Because if everyone understands that Krishna is God and is asking us to surrender unto him, so everyone will have laid down their arms. Like everyone, there will be no more enmity. The Kauravas and the Pandavas, there will be no more enmity. Everybody will be embracing each other and say, oh, we are the Lord's devotees, let's become the Lord's devotees. let us embrace one another. So there'll be no more fighting. But it wasn't so. And the Lord, Krishna, will not force anyone to surrender unto him. He will not force you. He will not force you to surrender to him, because the act of surrendering there has to be independence, must be there. To love God must be done out of free will, out of independence. He's not going to force you to surrender unto him. He's not going to force you to love him. Because when we talk of love, it has to be independence there. This surrender. And that's what the Lord has given everyone, this free will to surrender unto him, to love him. And it is this free will, that this independence, that can enable one to really develop love for the Lord, this free will. So on the battle of Kurukshetra, all the soldiers, so because they did not understand this is the supreme Lord, so they could not surrender unto him. But whereas in Vrindavan, Krishna is everyone's life, totally different. So therefore, the pastimes of Vrindavan is not the same as the pastime outside of Vrindavan. So therefore, the Lord, through his Lila Shakti, he has to perform so many pastimes, which and this outside of Vrindavan, and these pastimes, they are bewildering to one. They are bewildering to everyone. So he mentioned this text here that the Lord, he performed the funeral rites for the deceased relative Satrjit, because Satrjit was Krishna's father-in-law. He was the father of Satyabhama. So obviously, so the Lord acted like an ordinary human being, because this is the rule he has assumed. So as an ordinary human being, as a human being will feel, if your in-law dies, then there has to be, let's say, empathy, the feeling of moroseness, which Krishna expressed. Because when Satyabhama, when she ran over to Krishna and told Krishna that her father has been killed, so the Lord lamented with Satyabhama, that, oh, this is very, very bad. This is very, very bad. So then after the killing of Satyadamba, so Krishna came and he performed the funeral rites, the funeral ceremony for the Satrjit. So we can see it's very interesting, because in Dwaraka, the Dwaraka was personally created by Lord Krishna. It's a city that was personally created by him after Mathura. And supposedly everyone in Dwaraka supposed to be his devotee. But how come you have some enmity which developed there? Some enmity developed by the resident of Dwaraka, such as Satrjit accusing Krishna of killing his brother so that he can take away the Samatanka jewel. And this caused all these problems. And, we have many episodes in Dwaraka whereby the resident there, they were just, their behavior was not indicative of someone who is like pure devotee of Krishna. Even those who are pure devotees, they get bewildered in Dwaraka, especially Akrura and Kritabhama. They were said to be pure devotees. But Akrura and Kritabhama, they orchestrated, they told Satyadamba that, look, Satrjit, he had they told Satyadamba that this Satrjit, he deserves to be killed. Especially he's in possession of the Samantaka jewel. So listening to them, Satyadamba, he went and killed Satrjit. He went to kill Satrjit, and after this, when Lord Krishna came back to Dwaraka, so Krishna went after Satyadamba. Then Akrura and Vrindavan, they became afraid that, Krishna had gone after Satyadamba, what's going to happen to us? So they became afraid, and then they fled. They fled Dwaraka. They fled the city. But these two persons, they were pure devotees of Krishna. So how come this mentality was developed within them? So as by the acharyas, it was said that because when Akrura came to Vrindavan, he had taken Krishna away from Vrindavan to Mathura. So the Vijayabhasi, they were not happy for what had happened. So what Akrura had done was considered offensive to the Vijayabhasis. So the reaction of this offense is what happened to him in Dwaraka. And Kettavama, he was an associate of Kamsa. So he got affected by bad association. So this mentality of becoming jealous of Satrjit and inciting Satyadamba to go and kill Satrjit, this is the reaction of this bad association which Kettavama has. Otherwise, they were both pure devotees. So which means, as practicing devotees, we have to be very, very careful of what we'll do. We have to be very, very careful of what we do. Like Srila Goswami, he said that devotional service to Krishna is like a razor's edge, that one has to be careful always of how one is conducting oneself. Because the chance of making mistake is there. Even though one may be rendering advanced devotional service, pure devotional service, still the chance of committing mistakes is always there. So therefore, Srila Goswami said that yes, one has to be very, very careful. He said that this is like a razor's edge, that we can always get caught at any time, especially being offensive to another devotees. Even though it may not be practical, physical offensive, but even mentally thinking of another devotees in a negative way can provide the repercussion, can enable one to have the repercussion. So this is what has happened in the case of Akrura and Kettavama. So text number 29. Okay, text 29 there. Akrura Kettavamascha Sutta Satadamo Vadam Visatu Baya Vitrasto Dwaraka Prayojako. So translation. When Akrura and Kettavama, who had originally incited Satyadamba to commit his crime, heard that he had been killed, they fled Dwaraka in terror and took up residence elsewhere. So the Akrura and Kettavama, they left the Dwaraka, they went somewhere else. So because they were very afraid, and because what happened was that because Satyadamba was also a Yadava, and Yadava basically they are Krishna's family. The Bhojas, the Yadavas, they are Krishna's family. So the Akrura and Kitavama, they had assumed that Krishna would not kill him because he's part of the family, even though he had committed this heinous act of killing Satrjit. But still, because of this, Krishna killed him. So Krishna killed him, so then Akrura and Kitavama, so they became fearful of themselves. They said, oh, if Krishna had killed Satyadhamva, what's going to happen to us? If Krishna knew that we were the one who instigated the killing of Satyadhamva. So Krishna may come after us. So therefore, both of them left. They fled Dwaraka city. But of course, all these leelas also have a purpose. Because as we're going to read in the next sloka, in the next verse, how what happened to Dwaraka after Akrura and Kitavama after they left. What happened to Dwaraka? I think I'm going to be very quick because so that we can hear something about Vrindavan Thakur. So Akrura prosite aristani asabandra drakao kasam sarira manastastapa mohu daivaka bhaktika. Translation and purport. In Akrura's absence, ill omens arose in Dwaraka, and the citizens began to suffer continually from physical and mental distresses, as well as from disturbances caused by higher powers and by creatures of the earth. So 3 types of miseries began to manifest in Dwaraka. Miseries caused by nature, miseries caused by one's mind, and also miseries caused by other living entities. These began to manifest in Dwaraka. Purport. The word Daivika here refers to disturbances caused by supernatural beings. These disturbances often manifest as natural calamities like earthquakes, tidal waves, or extreme weather. Nowadays, materialistic people attribute these disturbances to earthly causes, not realizing that they constitute punishment at the hands of superior beings. The word bhaktika refers to trouble caused by fellow creatures of the earth, such as human beings, animals, and insects. According to Srila Swami, Akrura took the Shamantaka jewel and went to reside in the city of Benares, where he became known as Dhanapati, the master of charity. There, he executed fire sacrifices on gold altars with elaborate assemblies of qualified priests. Some residents of Dwaraka felt that the unusual calamities were due to Akrura's absence, forgetting, as described in the next verse, that the Supreme Lord's personal presence in Dwaraka precluded that possibility. Because when the Lord comes to earth, his pastimes resemble those of human beings. The principle of familiarity breeds contempt. Comes into play. It appears that during the lives of many saintly persons and the incarnations of God, there always exists a class of people who fail to appreciate, or who only occasionally appreciate the position of the great souls among them. On the other hand, the fortunate and enlightened souls who recognize the true position of the Lord and his associates are supremely blessed. So as mentioned in this purport here, this is actually coming from the statement of Srila Swami, who had commented this way, that wherever there is love, there cannot be any calamity. Krishna is in Dwaraka, so how can there be calamity? He is the creator of he created Dwaraka. So in Dwaraka, all kind of prosperity is there. There cannot be any mental problems, physical problems, or natural problems. That cannot be there. But in this particular situation, we are hearing that after Akrura left Dwaraka, then these problems surface. Because Akrura, he was a pure devotee of the Lord. So the Lord wanted to exhibit some pastimes. So with the Lord's own consent, Akrura left Dwaraka. And then in order to exhibit another pastime, in order to bring Akrura back to Dwaraka, so the Lord exhibit this lila of calamities but in Dwaraka, whereby the calamities surface. And the residents, they say that because of Akrura's absence, there was this calamity in Dwaraka. So therefore, Krishna, he had to bring back Akrura back to Dwaraka. And when he brought Akrura, because this Samantaka jewel is a very, very special jewel, which actually was given by the sun god himself, this jewel. But in reality, the origin of Samantaka jewel is supposedly from Krishna himself. What happened was that Sankachuda, he was a demon, and Sankachuda, he had a Samantaka jewel on his head. So when Krishna killed him in Vrindavan, so Krishna took this Samantaka jewel and then he gave it to Srimati Radharani. No, sorry. He gave it to Balaram. And Balaram, because of his affection for Srimati Radharani, he gave it to Srimati Radharani. And the Radharani, normally she worships the sun god every day. She does Suya Puja every day. So Radharani actually gave this Samantaka jewel to the sun god. And then the sun god, Suryadev, was keeping this Samantaka jewel. And then there was the pastimes of how Radharani is actually how Satyabhama is a counterpart of Srimati Radharani. This is mentioned in Lalita Madhava, how all the coins of Dwaraka, they were counterpart of the gopis of Vrindavan. So when Satrjit, when he was worshipping the sun god, the sun god gave him the Samantaka jewel, and at the same time, he also gave him his daughter, this girl, Satyabhama, to Satrjit. And Satyabhama is none but a manifestation of Srimati Radharani. So it's very nice, elaborate, very beautiful pastimes, which is there in the later model of Srila Rupa Goswami. But nonetheless, the Krishna wanted to bring back the Akrura back to Dwaraka. So therefore, he manifests these pastimes of Dwaraka being filled with calamity. So people, they wanted Akrura back in Dwaraka. So this is a very wonderful pastimes is there. It's part of the Lord's Lila. So today, as I say, is the disappearance of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. So I just speak briefly about him. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, he was known as the Vyas of Chaitanya Lila, because he was the original writer of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are some verses which was composed by him at the beginning of Chaitanya Bhagavat. So Vrindavan Das Thakur, he composed some verses in the glorification of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ajanulambita Abuja Kanakabdato Sankitanayaka Pitaro Kamala Yatakshao Bisambaro Dujabaro Yugadama Damo Palao Pandi Jagapriyakano Karunavataro. I offer my respects unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu, whose arms are extended down to their knees, who have golden yellow complexions, and who inaugurated the congregational chanting of the holy names. Their eyes resemble the petals of a lotus. They are the maintainer of all living entities. They are the best of Brahmanas, the protectors of religious principles for this age, the benefactors of the universe, and the most merciful of all incarnations. And another verse, which we find at the beginning of Chaitanya Bhagavat, is Namaste Kala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabritraya Saputraya Sakalatrayate Namaha. O Lord, who exists eternally in the three phases of time, O Son of Sri Jagannath Mishra, O Lord, accompanied by your servants, sons, and wives, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So he had composed this verse at the beginning of Chaitanya Bhagavat. So, Vrindavan Das Thakur, who was the original compiler, he was the first writer of Lord Chaitanya's pastime, the Chaitanya Bhagavat. So, his mother's name was known as Narayani. So it was called Narayani Sutta. His mother's name was Narayani. She was the niece of Srivas Thakur. She was the daughter of one of Srivas Thakur's brother. But after he passed away, so this girl Narayani was staying in the house of Srivas Thakur. So at that time, Mahaprabhu's pastimes had begun. Mahaprabhu, he had manifested himself to the devotees. He had manifested himself to the devotees as the Yuga avatar. So the Sankirtan pastimes began in the house of Srivas Acharya, Srivas Thakur. And so Mahaprabhu, this Narayani, she was 4-year-old. Because when Mahaprabhu told Srivas Thakur that he had incarnated to bestow Prema Bhakti upon all living entities, he had come to deliver all living entities, so Srivas Thakur found it difficult to believe. He found it difficult to believe. So in order to prove his statement to Srivas Thakur, so Mahaprabhu, he called this girl, who was 4 years old, and by giving her his remnant, he gave him his prasad, his remnant, and this girl started manifesting the ecstatic symptoms of pure devotional service. She was manifesting all the symptoms, all the bhav, and the body standing on end. She was rolling on the ground, shedding tears, and all that. So therefore, the Narayani, she became the most wonderful recipient of the mercy of Srila of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then, so eventually, she grew up, and then she was married. But when she was married, and then she became pregnant with Vrindavan Das Thakur. She became pregnant. But some say when Vrindavan Das Thakur was in the womb of his mother, his father passed away. And some say that it was after he was born, then shortly thereafter he was born, the father passed away. So therefore, Vrindavan Das Thakur, he did not reveal anything about his father. He was only known as the son of his mother. He didn't say anything, he never wrote anything about his father. He only wrote about his mother being the recipient of the mercy of Chaitanya Prabhu. So, and then Chaitanya Prabhu, when he took some years, at that time, Vrindavan Thakur, he had grown up, he was like 20-year-old when Mahaprabhu took some years, that time. And then he was eventually initiated by Nityananda Prabhu. So when you read Chaitanya Bhagavat, you'll find so many glorifications of Vrindavan Thakur. So it was after about 50 years of Mahaprabhu's disappearance that Chaitanya Bhagavat was written down. It was written after about 50 years after Mahaprabhu's disappearance. And then one of my favorite verse in Chaitanya Bhagavat is when Vrindavan Thakur wrote that the Lord, he had come and he manifests himself different places. And the Lord allowed his devotees to take birth in many provinces, in many countries, in many families. And some of those families may be impious families. The Lord caused his devotees to take birth in many impious places, in many impious families, so that those devotees, they can purify those particular families, those particular inhabitants of those places. So which means, just like Srila Prabhupada came to the West, and then in a very such an impious place, and the Prabhupada was preaching Krishna consciousness, and many persons became attracted and they took up Krishna consciousness. So these persons, they are actually manifestation of Chaitanya Prabhu's message on the people of the particular countries, the particular planet, whereby which means those who have taken birth in America, Europe, Africa, China, whatever, they were considered to be the mercy of Chaitanya Prabhu, who have taken birth in those places, so that they can purify their particular area. So the mercy, the extraordinary mercy of Sri Chaitanya Prabhu it's unlimited. So, and then there are many pastimes which Vrindavan Thakur accomplished. Not only did he write Chaitanya Bhagavat, he was also very vigorously engaged in preaching Nam Sankirtan. And Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, so he was glorified Chaitanya Bhagavat. He said, Manusya Rachite Nauraya Gata Damya Vrindavan Das Mukhe Bhakta Sri Chaitanya. The subject matter of this book is so sublime that it appears that Sri Chaitanya Prabhu has personally spoken through the writings of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. So he said that this scripture cannot be written by an ordinary human being. These are the words spoken by Sri Chaitanya Prabhu through Vrindavan Das' mouth. So today is a very glorious day, so we can use this day to remember this great personality, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. Jai Hare Krishna. Vrindavan Das Thakur ki. So if anybody have any comments or question? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji for the wonderful class. We have come to learn that Maharaj Janak happens to be the father of Sita, the consort of Lord Ram.
Yeah.
And in Mahabharata, we have also come to learn that Janaka is the king of Mithila.
Yeah.
And among the 12 Mahajanas, there appears also a name, Janak.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know if you let me know something about this Janak.
Yeah, I told you in the beginning, I said in the beginning that Janak is a title. So it's not that the same Janak who was there 3 million years ago, when Ram was here, it's not the same Janak that is still there up till now. No. It's a title, that Janak. So every king in Mithila is known as Janak. Janaka, every king is known by that name, Janaka. The original Janaka, who was one of the Mahajans, because he has so much love for Lord Ram, so it's one of the Mahajans, 12 Mahajans. But that's the original Janak Maharaj. But not Janak, because as I said, it's a title. Every king is given the name Janak Maharaj, every king. Even up to, I think, I'm sure up to today, you go to Mithila today, the king will be known as Janak Maharaj. It doesn't mean that that Janak Maharaj is the one who is there 3 million years ago. But it's the title of the kingdom. It's a title. Every king is known as Janaka. Is that understandable? So we should not be confused with that.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay. You like to make a comment, Prabhu? You like to comment something? Prabhu, you like to make a comment?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. I have a question that when Aristras were being killed, that time gopis was not ready to understand that Krishna is Lord himself. And they asked...
Who was killed?
Aristasur.
Oh, Aristasur.
And they asked Krishna also to go for atonement.
Yeah.
And same here we see, Dwaraka Vasis are not considering him as God or Krishna, although they knew, and they're asking Akrura absence is the cause of the calamities. So what is difference between Dwaraka Vasis thinking like this and gopis thinking like this?
Well, the difference between Dwaraka and Vrindavan is that even though Vijay Bujabasi, they were not in Aishwarya above, they are in Madhurya above. And in their Madhurya above, they see Krishna only as their relative. But it's the most wonderful relative, because whenever they have any problem, they immediately run to Krishna. So in one sense, they know that Krishna is supreme, the most powerful, the most everything. So they run to him because Krishna is their life. But at the same time, Krishna's own desire, because he wants to have a special relishment with the Bijabasis. So he himself, he covered the Bijabasis. He covered their intelligence so that they don't understand him to be the supreme God. They simply see him as their most wonderful relatives, who they have sweet relationship with. But in Dwaraka, it's not the same. It's a totally different lila. It's not the same. Plus, Krishna's in Vrindavan is not the same as Krishna in Dwaraka. It's a different form of Krishna. It's not Krishna Brajanandana Krishna is different from Devaki Krishna. So, some of those, we have to understand this through the writings of Acharya. That Krishna in Dwaraka is not the same as Krishna in Vrindavan. Krishna feel at home in Vrindavan. It's at home. Whereas in Dwaraka, he just is there to perform duty. The duty, because he has come to establish Dharma, he has come to kill the demons and all that. So outside of Vrindavan, he came to establish Dharma. Whereas in Vrindavan, his home, this is his home. Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, one more question.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Can you remind us, remind me, why Balaram is angry with Krishna?
Oh, why is angry
And
with
he
Krishna?
stays 7 years with Duryodhana and all.
Yeah, it's as I say, it's a lila, it's a pastimes. Balaram is Krishna's manifestation. We have Krishna Balaram here on the altar. They are never angry with one another, otherwise they will not stay on the same altar. They are here on the altar, and they have their eternal loving pastimes. So this pastime in Dwaraka, it's just a lila. That's apparently just like when Bhima and Duryodhana, when they were fighting, and Krishna shows Duryodhana Krishna shows Bhima how to kill Duryodhana. That just uses his knee and his thigh. So Balaram was there, but he wasn't happy, and apparently like a little bit so-called angry with Krishna. But again, this is a lila, this is a pastimes. And this pastime, we cannot use our material reasoning to understand them. We cannot understand our material reasoning to understand this pastime. Krishna just allowed another manifestation of himself to apparently be angry with himself. It just is another manifestation. So those who are non-devotees, they will point finger, they say, oh, just see, Balaram is angry with Krishna, just see. They will point finger, because they are not devotees. But devotees have different understanding. They have, these pastimes are Dwaraka pastime, there are so many confusing elements of this Dwaraka Lila, Dwaraka pastime. Lots of confusing element is there. Okay.
Thank you. And so why Balaram accepted to serve, to teach Duryodhana? Because he is not looking devotional. Why he give the knowledge to somebody who is not acting like a devotee?
So in their human-like pastime, because both Krishna and Balaram, they assume human form. And these human-like pastimes, they perform leelas, just like any human being will do. They perform lila, the pastimes. So
it's for teach everybody.
Yeah, so Balaram he has not faith. So he taught Duryodhana how to fight. And was even ready to have his sister, Subhadra, to marry Duryodhana. He was getting ready to have Duryodhana marry Subhadra. So Krishna had to devise a plan with Arjuna to kidnap Subhadra. So Krishna has to devise this. So again,